Viewers tell SNN the smell in Venice is getting worse. It's due to red tide, and residents are becoming more concerned. SNN's Jessica Lang has more on how to keep you and your family safe.
Venice beach waves normally bring out beachgoers, but recently it's been bringing in dead fish. Mote Marine Lab tells us that red tide comes and goes, but this particular bloom has stayed.
This is a very bad year, no doubt about that. It's not the worst we've had, but it's a very intensive bloom, and it, for some reason, seems to be hanging around.
Pierce explained red tide is an algae bloom that reduces oxygen in the water. He says it's a naturally occurring phenomenon and one that is hard to predict.
One reason it's here because apparently this is where it's found its home and it can survive.
After seeing red tides year after year, Nicole, Krizen, a Nokomis resident, says the smell around her home was so strong she had to stay inside.
It was bad. It was burning my sinuses, burning my throat to come outside, and I thought it was like a mildew smell mixed with like dead animals and fertilizer. That's basically what it smelled like.
Krizen says she's lived in Florida for about 30 years and said this bloom is different.
This is not just red tide. I've never seen this bad. So
Mote Marine tells us this specific red tide is causing stinging eyes, stinging nose, dry cough, and can even worsen asthma. Wearing a mask can lessen the symptoms, but Pierce says the best thing to do is avoid exposure.
Check ahead of time before you go to the beach so that you don't expose yourself to these either to dead fish or to the respiratory irritation.
For now, Krizen is just keeping her son away from the water in hopes it'll get better.
this is affecting not just the coast. I mean, not just the animals. This is going to start affecting us as humans.
Mote Marine Lab says if you're going to the beach, check their page to see the level of red tide before you head out. In Venice, Jessica Lang, SNN, the Suncoast News Network.
Pierce also says they're following this red tide closely and researching ways to reduce the impact in canals and bays.